Lot Party quick tip, and this is going live Facebook, YouTube. Hope you guys are having a strong May, beginning of May here. I'm going to pop this up on Facebook. That's what I'm playing around with here to see if you guys got any comments or anything as I talk. And so I want to start this out as a good tip for the rest of May. Now, April 1st, I put a Facebook post. April 9th, I did a video about the beginning of April. We started seeing the downward trend. Now, I also stated at that point in time, a lot of dealers probably won't feel it for about 30, 45 days or so. And, we're starting to see that more and more in some posts I'm noticing. People are saying that things are kind of slowing down a bit and even wholesale comments a little bit. But again, I'm not saying sky's falling. All I'm saying is it's going to be a level playing field. I believe shopper counts are going to drop 20, 30% as inventory levels drop 30%. So it's just going to make it a more stable, realistic market than what it has been possibly. So here's what I would do. Basically, if you're feeling a pinch, if you're feeling a little bit of a slowdown or feeling a little bit of being worried about, being stuck holding the bag. I've seen some of these comments on the used car managers group. Here's what you need to do for May. Now, one of the things that we've watched over the 7+ years here, 8 years with vAuto, I can tell you over the last 15 years, what you need to be focusing on from here to the end of May, because if things continue down a traditional path, and I could show you if you guys ever want to find out where I'm coming up with these numbers from. May and June is a typical slowdown in shopper counts and activity as far as people out there looking for cars. Not that there aren't people out there buying. I'm just saying there's usually a good 30% drop from a peak of March shopper activity down to June. And so if that is going to continue to be a continued pattern going into this June, I would be making sure my inventory is staying clean, because I don't want aged inventory in June, because those aged cars are going to be cars I bought in April and paid top money for, and those cars are going to be over 60 days old in June. And again, if the market shifts, I'm stuck holding the bag. And I will tell you this, all the other traditional indexes that we've watched over the years, this pattern is continuing, meaning we typically always seen, again, 5, 6, 7 years of tracking this, we've seen an uptick in shopper counts going into January, February, but basically February, March. And then from there, it starts going down about 5 to 10% going through April, May, and June. And you're going to see each month, and you're going to see about a 25, 30% less shoppers compared to the index that was peaked in usually about March. So that pattern's that's similar. So I'm assuming going into June, it's going to be similar. So here's what I would do. You really just need to stop any kind of bleed through. You need to stop cars from aging. So we always push, as you guys know, this whole first 30, we hand out wristbands and talk about increasing the amount of cars you sell in the first 30 days. That will increase your gross. And oh, by the way, that's why your guys' grosses are high, because everybody's cars are flying off the shelves faster. Instead of 30, 40-day average sale dates, we're talking about sale dates in the teens now. Cars are flying off the shelf. That's why, even though you're paying up for them, that's why grosses are high, because you're turning in the first 30. If you guys want any wristbands or find out more, let me know. You can go to our website and hashtag first 30s there, and I can send you some wristbands about that. Anyways, as much as we talk about first 30, I think the middle bucket management's even more important. I gave this as a tip on CBT News last week. You need to make sure you're 31 to 60, okay? If you're clean right now, meaning you don't have any age, a lot of dealerships right now are running thin, so they don't have a bunch of aged cars because they're selling them pretty quick. If you don't have any aged inventory, and I shared this on Clubhouse on Friday, maintain your 31 to 60, or what I call middle buckets. Maintain that to 25% or less of your current inventory level. So if you looked at, I know in all the inventory systems, you can probably look at a unit count or a percentage of your dollars. I know, let's say a lot of you guys might be on vAuto. Each of the age buckets on your homepage show a percentage of your dollars sitting in those. 31 to 60, you want to maintain it at 25% or less. Every time I see that tip over that 25%, go to 26, 27, 28%, I see an aging problem happen if no one's paying attention to that. The next step, look at your 31 to 60. Again, I'll call it middle bucket. Watch your middle bucket, maintain it at 25% or less. But your next step is you need to go look at what you've been selling in the last 2 weeks out of those age buckets, out of your middle bucket. Go look at, if you go look today, go look at your last 2 weeks and see what you've been selling out of your 31 to 60, what percentage of your dollars. Again, if you want some help, I could show you in your inventory management tool how to pull this data, reach out to me. But what you want to do is sell at least 5% or more than what's sitting there. So if you have 25% sitting there, make sure you have at least 30% of your sales going out of that bucket. And that middle bucket management, by doing that, is going to allow you to make sure you're cutting off the bleed through, make sure no cars bleed through to become age in June. Okay, use May to tighten up so you're not holding the bag in June if these patterns continue like they have over the past years. We're kind of getting in a normal market this time of year where we didn't have it last year. So, because here's the problem. You always want to sell 5% or more than what's sitting in your age buckets. That allows a pad for no bleed through, because cars are going to come in that bucket, leave that bucket, and come in that bucket. You want at least a 5% pad. So anytime that middle bucket, 31 to 60, goes over 25%, let's say it gets up to 30 and 35%, what you're going to have to do, if it's sitting at 35%, you're going to have to get 40% of your sales going out of there. This is what causes age cycles. And what I mean by that, you age and then you clean up, and then 6 weeks later you're starting to age again, then you clean up. So these cycles that you guys run through, this is what causes it. When you have 35% sitting there, 40% of your sales are going to have to go out of that to stop the bleed through. And a lot of you ain't going to want to do it, because you're going to have you're going to be putting numbers on cars that don't make sense. You don't want to drop it $200 to $300 or $500, and now all of a sudden you're losing money, and to replace this car it costs this much at the lane. The lane's going to take another 30 days to catch up to what you guys start seeing now, because the lane's not going to start dropping their prices until you guys stop buying cars for a few weeks, and they stop, get rid of their floor, move it a little bit, and stop no selling. So anyways, it's another conversation. So you're going to have a challenge when 35% sitting there to get 40% of your sales out of there. That's where growth starts getting hurt. And then that's where mentally you go, I'm not going to do that because I can't even replace that car. And we need cars anyways. And So, and then next thing you know, you're going to go into June with an aging problem. I'm just telling you this right now. Listen to me or don't. And if you don't, I'd like to hear your story come June, because this is what you need to be doing if the current patterns stay consistent. And these patterns from January till now have stayed consistent to what it's been 2 years ago, 3 years ago, 4 years ago, 5 years ago, 6 years ago, 7 years ago. These patterns of shopper counts and everything is getting back to normal prior to what happened last year with COVID. So again, if I was you, 25% in that middle bucket, maintain that. Make sure your 2-week sale rate is exceeding it by 5%. And that will help make sure you're not going into June with an age problem on cars that you could be taking a beating on if, things start slowing down the wholesale range. A lot of people say, Jason, the chip shortage, and they're crazy. These values are going to stay high for a long time. Okay, they might. Roll that dice. I'd rather stay lean and clean and carry to my current sale rate if and making sure, we're not getting stuck holding the bag, because I'd rather have that lean and clean going into maybe a shorter market. Because that's the other thing. You got to put it to the side what's going on in the car industry. You've got all these things happening, gas prices going up, oil pipelines getting shut off. You got essentially inflation happen on woods, on wood and furniture and housing goods, food, all this inflation, all this extra cost on products and services that customers need right now. You can't get an Uber nowadays. You can't rent a car. I mean, there's just everything sucking up people's dollars. So car buying is going to be one of them. Okay. So, again, as much as there might be a shortage out there, don't be surprised if the economy goes sideways and there's a big shortage of people to buy cars. So, everything that's pointing right now, to, again, stock market just came, the employment rate it was supposed to be over 1 million and people got hired in April and only 250. It was a quarter of what they thought was going to happen. You got all these things happening. So stay lean and clean. Middle bucket management, 25%. So hope this is helpful. If you, again, reach out to me. I can walk you through your system, whatever inventory management tool you have. Okay. And we're there. If your inventory management tool isn't enough, that's where we come in. We've got lot score. We've got this WTF work, the facts score. We help you look at what's happening on your lot first before we run to the market. Because right now the market's crazy as it is. Focus on what you could control. And that's at your own dealership, at your lot. So let us help you there. If you need additional help, go to lotpop.com. If you want some wristbands, let me know. I send them out for free. And subscribe to YouTube channel or iTunes podcast. Again, follow us on Facebook. Hope this is helpful. Talk to you next time. End meeting here.